So yeah, let me tell you, so you guys cracked me up on Friday. Oh my God, that was
we had a good time. We had a good time on Friday.
Kwach is such a storyteller. By the way, I think he's
actually. I was just gonna say, man, you're like the one icon I knew since I was my formative days.
Yeah,
I've known you
from a what?
My formative days.
Okay.
Since I was like a
yeah.
So it's an honor to be here with you, man. That's all I'm saying.
Blessings, Asante. It's good to have you here. It's an honor to have you here. So, Dennis, so when you came in, you were talking about what you do. So, what do you do, Dennis?
Well, I'm a speaker, an entrepreneur, and that's what I do. I'm a keynote speaker. I've got a business that tries to assist small businesses that are coming up, and I also create events for corporates, and I get to speak in those events. That's what I do. Yeah.
So 3-in-1.
Yeah.
Hustler.
That's
how you make money, bro.
Yeah.
He said actually there's a very huge difference between motivational speaking and keynote speaking.
Explain. Oh, there is, but explain.
Yes, he said apparently you have to be at a certain level for you to
become a motivational speaker. See, when you're a keynote speaker, you're still, in my opinion, you're still growing to become a motivational speaker. But you still got something to offer, right? Because you've got to start from somewhere. You don't start as a motivational speaker. I think that by the time you become a motivational speaker, you've got something up your sleeves, you've inspired others, and you've actually mentored other speakers to get into the game. So as a keynote speaker, you basically have some experience. Perhaps you've been a consultant. Perhaps you've got something that is a niche that you usually talk about extensively, and you've got that experience. And then you grow, and then you get to the level of becoming a motivational speaker.
Because you know what they call. So if you're in a corporate event, the keynote speaker is a chief guest. So like if it's a representative of government, then they call him. So does that still fall within your
that falls within my domain?
Okay.
Yeah, that's my field.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's the creme de la creme of what I do.
You have a business that helps other businesses grow.
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
Well, I mean, I've always, whenever you go to a self-help section in the book, store, it bothers me that it's always self-help but you never find a section of how to help others. I'd like to think that I'm in the business of helping others, right? And it's all about contribution, and it's all about what we can give you as a business. And I speak from experience because I started a couple of businesses when I was younger.
How young were you?
I think the first business I started was 25.
Whoa.
And I failed miserably. But it's through those experiences. Now I've got a couple of businesses. I wouldn't say I'm a tycoon or nothing, but it's through learning through, it's learning through those experiences that have enabled me to guide others who are at that very incipient stage of starting on and looking into where they fall short. So it's also very interactive. I've got to sit down with you and establish what's going on. Where are the bottlenecks?
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you this. So it starts from somewhere. It starts from experience. Somebody must have pulled you out of that rigmarole. Did somebody pull you out of it, and hence then you learned your lessons and now decide to pull others out of their own?
Well, I mean, I think it's a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step.
Boom.
And you've got to realize that the destination is what kind of explains a lot about the journey. What I mean is, you just start going, or you get started, and then the challenges are inevitable in every business, right? The challenges are inevitable. And I think that was the experience for me, even when I started here in Kenya, which is something that I'm hoping we're going to get into. Because as a speaker, this is kind of where I started to nurture my skills. Right here in Kenya, some 12 years ago, right? I was at the University of Nairobi, and of course, there was a lot of challenges. I never realized how difficult it would be to become a radio presenter or become a speaker in Kenya. And so it's through those challenges and through that journey that I amassed a lot of lessons that now I'm in a position that I can tell others, all right, it's it's a formula, or rather it's all interrelated, right? That the way you've started your business, or the way, if you're going to a particular journey or you've set a particular goal, these are the challenges, and this is how you overcome them. That's kind of where I am.
Wow. Hey, so he's deep in thought.
Yes,
I tried.
He usually says a lot of good stuff, and I'm just hoping that our listeners are also being impacted as much as we are. But now I have a question.
Go for it.
So you are in the business of helping other businesses grow,
right?
While you yourself is a business that is growing while helping others grow.
Exactly. You've got to look, especially if you're in the business of being a speaker, you've got to look yourself as a business. You're an entity. I'm an entity. I'm the brand.
You're the
Dennis
business.
Kahuria is the business.
Yes.
And I've got to treat myself as such, right? Every other component and all the other pillars that you put and you structure in a business, I've got to do the same with myself. So, it's fun. It's really good. It keeps me very disciplined with what I want to do. Yeah.
So, is there like a specific field that you are very comfortable in?
Yeah. Absolutely, leadership. Right. I spoke in Singapore. I was at the Grand Pacific. That was last year, October. And we were talking about leadership, and I was called because I was working for this company in New Zealand, right? So I got called whilst I was in New Zealand to travel to Singapore and speak about that. And it's because I'm so passionate about leadership. See, in my career, right, when I got started, I learned that there is a lot that you can get from employees and people who work for you through leadership. And as an organization, there's a lot that you learn that can steer your organization to profit and to if you're trying to get growth. And it's all anchored on leadership. And I suppose I was also under the tutelage of someone called Robert, and the way he handled the team really inspired me. And so then I made it a point of mine to understand what lessons did I learn from Robert. And even when I became a manager, because I was the manager of Holcim Lafarge, right? That's the cement company. It's a really huge conglomerate. And for the first time, I saw that my team, because I used to, my previous job, I had like a team of 4 people, but now it went to 20 people. And I had to learn how to delegate responsibilities. I had to learn how to really handle my team members whenever there was an issue, whenever there was an issue that arose. I needed to know how to motivate them. There was a lot that I had to learn from that space. And so in doing that and being successful in that, it has become something that I like to talk about, something that I like to inspire other leaders and other people who've got businesses, right?
Let me ask you, and I see where you're going at. Because the challenge would be, and this I'm speaking from experience.
Yes.
The challenge with having to then begin to motivate or to lead, as you also are growing, is that an experience is a good thing.
Yes.
However, there's a nexus where certain aspects of leadership or career or your career, can hit a snag. And there you've imparted this information or this knowledge to people, and then they go and say, "Yo, bro, I did what you did and it didn't work," and then it happens to you as well. So how do you handle that? Where you're growing, you're growing as a business. And you're being a motivational speaker to a growing business.
Yes,
you're both growing. Haven't quite reached the peak.
I think I really love
how
that.
do you handle that? How do you handle that? Guys are like, hey, maybe I should have listened to somebody else. I
mean, this is why you have to perpetually, continuously grow, and you have to be on top of your game, especially if you're growing your business, especially if you have been given that responsibility of leadership. You always have to be on top of your game. And I think that one of the things that I learned, if there are managers and there are leaders. As a leader, you want people to follow you organically. They should look at you. They should be looking up to you, right? and that's kind of what you want. And the way you achieve that is that you've got to be a role model. You've got to be on top of your game. You've got to, I suppose, the word here is you've got to lead by example.
Nice.
Right? And
so
by
let me
that,
ask you this.
Get a sense of responsibility.
With all that, define for me leadership. Who's a leader from your perspective and your experience?
Well, that's a really... How much time do we have? How much time
I need you to think about that. So what
I'll think about that.
Well, we're thinking, of course, you're going to just help us think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah? But let me tell you what's happening on the road right now. Let me see. Gong Road usual. Actually, it's interesting. There's traffic, but it's moving. Just a bit of hiccups if you get to the junction between Kinyara Road and Gong Road. Southern Bypass seems to be flowing very well, apart from the interchange to go to Langata. Mombasa Road is heading towards Panariska, just outside our office. It's moving. It's just a bit. I know where this the red flag is. It's just roundabout beneath the expressway. However, as you always say here with DJ Lock, if you see anything different, you call us 0719 012600 or
SpiceFM KE on X.
There you go.